So people are like, has the banana zone been cancelled? Is Raoul a moron? Yes, I am an utter moron, and I will take that all day. However, the banana zone is a multi-phase affair and a multi-month and over a year affair. This is the banana zone in the box. We then have a corrective period. Look at this, corrective period, corrective period, corrective period, corrective period. Does this look any different than this one? No. And then what happens? Banana zone phase 2. Banana zone phase 2. Banana zone phase 2. Then we have another corrective zone.
So, has the banana zone been canceled? That's the question on a lot of investors' minds as Bitcoin struggles to keep momentum. And what I plan to answer towards the end of this video, so be sure to stick around and not miss anything. Now, just a few weeks ago, sentiment was sky high. Raoul Pal's thesis of an explosive market phase seemed spot on as Bitcoin broke through major resistance levels. But the recent price action of Bitcoin has casted some doubt. Instead of the parabolic rally many were anticipating, we're seeing sharp pullbacks and choppy movement. For some, this market volatility suggests that Powell's outlook may have been too optimistic. Critics argue that if we were truly in the banana zone, Powell's term for the rapid acceleration phase of this cycle, crypto prices should be steadily climbing and not stalling out instead. Meanwhile, many altcoins have taken a hit and Bitcoin's price action is all over the board, leading skeptics to question whether or not this cycle is really playing out the way that Raoul Pal predicted. Critics argue that he underestimated macroeconomic headwinds, tight liquidity, and a shift in investor sentiment. But in his latest market update, Powell pushes back. He doubles down on his view that the banana zone is still very much in play. According to Powell, the banana zone isn't just one big vertical move. It unfolds in phases, with strong rallies followed by healthy corrections. And he believes that investors are falling into a very common trap. The trap of expecting prices to rise in a straight line. Powell points out that similar pullbacks happen in previous markets, often shaking out weak hands before having the next big leg up. In his latest video, he breaks down his updated thoughts on Bitcoin, global liquidity, and the banana zone, and why he still believes that his framework is holding strong. As we show you highlights from Powell's market update, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. Every bit of engagement helps this channel grow and keeps this type of content coming your way. Now back to Raoul.
Because this is what happened in 2017. It played out again. There we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30% corrections. In fact, many of them were almost 40%. I don't remember this. Well, I do remember the one in June, July, because I sold out at about 2000. But generally speaking, you don't remember this stuff because in the end, the gains compound. So it's really important to zoom out and realize volatility is part of the story. It's how you get them. You can't have them without the volatility. Volatility is what keeps leverage in check, keeps the market healthy. So it's very healthy market right now. When we go back to 2017, January, like now, came out of the gate, collapsed. Why? Because financial conditions are tight. And then it went up, recorrected, and didn't get going until mid-March. Where are we now? Mid-March. Guess what's likely to happen? Number go up. What happened that time? It went up. Big time. It went up 23x. It will not do that again this time. But the point being, it's all to play for. And we will get massive volatility in the middle, and you won't believe it, and you think it's going to be topping, and every FinTwit moron will be telling you it's topping. It won't be. We've got plenty to play for. Bitcoin, 14-day RSI, double bottom oversold. Okay. Every time that happens, goes up. Sometimes it has this sideways consolidation period, then goes up. Will we have more sideways consolidation? This chart's maybe out of date for a week. For sure. Will it go up? For sure. Are we anywhere near a top? Here's our GMI cycle finder top that we use for exponential age asset management. We use this as one of the key inputs into what we're doing and how we allocate to funds. We're nowhere near. NASDAQ, let's talk about equities. You guys are nervous Nellies. This is like one of the most bearish ever readings in the history of the NASDAQ. Oh my God, Trump and Scott Bessent and tariffs, and they're all going to make us die. And you guys, stop. You are all way too bearish. The percentage of stocks trading with a RSI of less than 30 is almost record territory. And guess what? Global M2, because the everything code drives everything, drives NASDAQ too. And you guys trying to sell the NASDAQ here are selling something that is perfectly priced for liquidity. And we've had these liquidity air pockets in the past. Liquidity air pocket is when liquidity is not rising, NASDAQ overshoots, it recorrects, comes back down to trend, and then follows liquidity. Remember, NASDAQ has a 97.5% correlation to global total liquidity, which is the index that we use on a broader basis. 97.5%. Bitcoin has an 89% correlation with global liquidity. Global liquidity, I wrote about this in GMI, and there's probably not much time to talk about it now, but is my preferred measure these days. If we go back to the early phase of the Everything Code, the balance sheet was the main thing. After the balance sheet use, we started using Fed net liquidity. Once people understood that the balance sheet was printing of money and debasement, they started moving to Fed net liquidity. Now, all of FinSwit understands Fed net liquidity, as does crypto Twitter. And so they're looking at the TGA and the reverse repo and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, the game has moved. The game is always moving. The game has moved to total liquidity in the US and everywhere around the world. Total liquidity includes M2. It includes net liquidity at every single major economy level, net liquidity, plus M2. And M2's largest driver is the dollar. That is what they're now doing, which means that they're pushing the monetary policy onto the balance sheet of the banks themselves.
One of the biggest forces driving this cycle is global liquidity. It is the fuel behind all risk assets. Raoul Pal has consistently said that Bitcoin's trajectory is closely linked to the global money supply, and data backs that up. Historically, both Bitcoin and the Nasdaq have moved almost in lockstep with global liquidity trends. Now, despite recent pullbacks, the broader liquidity picture is still supportive. Central banks might not be printing money outright, but capital is still flowing through mechanisms like government spending and bank balance sheet expansion. In a world where currencies are being slowly debased, Bitcoin and other hard assets are becoming the preferred hedge. That being said, the path forward won't be a straight line. Right now, we're in what Powell calls a liquidity air pocket, a temporary stall, not a breakdown. These slowdowns offer triggered corrections, flushing out weak hands and resetting the market before the next move higher. Powell sees them as a necessary part of the cycle, preventing unchecked speculation and building a stronger base. So, what's next? If past cycles are any indication, we could be on the cusp of another major move. Bitcoin is flashing technical signals that have historically preceded large price expansions. And on the macro side, conditions point to potential easing later this year, which would boost liquidity even further. That's why Raoul Pal is sticking to his outlook. The banana zone isn't over, it's just sticking to its natural rhythm. Here's another clip from Powell breaking it all down.
So people are like, has the banana zone been cancelled? Is Raoul a moron? Yes, I am an utter moron, and I will take that all day. However, the banana zone is a multi-phase affair and a multi-month and over a year affair. And those of you who expect number go up all the time are only remembering what the banana zone is at certain periods of time. Your number's not going up because you own a bunch of shitholes and you're like complaining. Okay, I get it. Let's go through this again for you morons out there. The banana zone starts. This is the banana zone in the box. We then have a corrective period. Look at this. Corrective period, corrective period, corrective period, corrective period. Does this look any different than this one? No. And then what happens? Banana zone phase 2. Banana zone phase 2. Banana zone phase 2. Then we have another corrective zone. And you're all going to be throwing your toys out the pram. It's all over. It's just like 2021 again. Blah, 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 blah. And guess what? We will correct, and it will go higher again. That's how the banana zone works.
If there's one thing this market is teaching us right now, it's patience. Markets run on fear, greed, and impatience. And at the moment, impatience is fueling the doubt around Raoul Pal's banana zone thesis. But this was never meant to be a straight line rally. It is a multi-phase journey. Those who don't understand that tend to get shaken out early. Now, if you study Bitcoin's past cycles, they all follow the same rhythm. Explosive runs, sharp corrections, and then renewed momentum. What we're seeing now isn't a collapse. It's just part of the natural flow of a volatile asset moving in a long-term uptrend. Now, the biggest mistake investors often make isn't holding through the storm. It's bailing right before the next wave. Powell's message is simple. Patience pays. If you're expecting price to go up without any setbacks, you're missing the bigger picture. Bitcoin and other risk assets are riding a major macro trend, one fueled by global liquidity, institutional adoption, and the broader shift towards decentralization. So, is the banana zone canceled? According to Raoul Pal, absolutely not. The real question is, do you have conviction to hold through the noise and capture what is about to happen next? Let us know down in the comments. Do you agree with Powell's outlook? If you got value from this, please drop a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss future updates. I'll see you in the next one.